Hello YouTube, my name is Rob and this is my Rampaging Netflix review. So the movie I'll be reviewing this week is called Mean Creek. It is not a newer film. It did come out in 2004, same year I graduated from high school, and it's a bit of a darker film. If you haven't noticed, there has been a bit of a pattern. I tend to watch pretty dark films. It's not intentional. I happen upon them, and they tend to pique my interest. This one piqued my interest a little bit more than the others because of two actors that were in it, and around the year that it came out, they were extremely young. One of them being Josh Peck from Drake and Josh. And in this movie, he plays a bully. And it's completely uncharacteristic of him. And it was quite interesting to see him in this role. The other actor being Rory Culkin. One of the many, many Culkin children that got into acting. They all tend to do pretty dark films. 2004, this movie coming out. 2 years prior, his other brother, one of his other brothers, did another film that actually Mean Creek reminded me a lot of, which is The Dangerous Life of Altar Boys. If you have not seen that or have not heard of it, if you haven't heard of it, I wouldn't be surprised. It is on Netflix right now. I highly suggest you go and watch it. I'd actually suggest watching that before you watch Mean Creek. The two movies have nothing to do with each other, but watching Dangerous Life of Altar Boys kind of gives you a bit of a feel as to what you are about to embark upon watching Mean Creek. So the premise for the movie, stated on Netflix, is that a group of teens from a small town set out to celebrate the youngest member's birthday, but it's actually all a ploy for payback of their local bully. Played by Josh Peck, as I said earlier. The movie definitely starts off pretty slow, but not in a bad way. You kind of get a feel of the characters. You get to see, that it's the youngest brother is being picked on, and the older brother, being a good big brother, wants to protect his younger brother by getting back at this kid for, kicking around his little brother and kicking his ass. So the plot that they come up with to get back at this bully is actually kind of harmless in a sense. It's definitely a way to embarrass somebody. Depending on the type of bully they are, it's either enough of an embarrassment to, shut them down indefinitely or make things worse. Fortunately, things kind of turn around the way they weren't really expecting, getting the bully back a little bit more than they had expected to do. But like all my other reviews, I don't want to give away too much of the plot itself. I'd much rather you watch it and make your own opinions off of this. What I can give you from this movie is that it definitely is an uneasing film. I was very uncomfortable the entire time. They definitely set the mood perfectly, too, throughout the entire film. Just making you wait, making you wonder what's going to happen. In the back of your mind the entire time, knowing something horrible is about to happen. The way it's shot, the way the characters interact with each other, it's very clear that things aren't quite as they're planned out to be. If you have seen any films from the early 2000s in the darker, angry teen indie film industry, it's very reminiscent of those. Like I had already said, The Dangerous Life of Altar Boys is definitely one of those films. On top of that, it reminded me of other films like Elephant, which was just, it shakes you to the core. Elephant is one of those movies you can't really ever shake it. The other film being A Home at the End of the World, which I place it in the teen indie angst films category. Granted, the entire film does not take place as teens, but it starts there and it carries through. but it's definitely one of those films that lands in the same category, style-wise, the way it's acted out, just the emotion that's behind it. Positive note out of Mean Creek, I don't want to get too far off topic suggesting other movies to be watched, but the very, very positive note that I took away from this film was the soundtrack. The soundtrack was amazing. I'm very big into music, and just the music in the background throughout the entire thing. I mean, when you get Death Cab for Cutie, Elliott Smith is heard quite a bit throughout the film, and it definitely, the songs they choose for the scenes they're spot on for the emotion that is trying to be set. The actors definitely do an amazing job, but the music as a background helps push that forward and grabs you as a viewer and lets you understand a little bit more about exactly the feelings that are being kicked around in the characters at that point in time. Now, with all of the positive things I've said about the film, relating it to other really great films from its time, there were some downsides to the film, things that, as a viewer kind of pulled me out of the movie. Mainly just the simple fact that the movie is all based around one bully picking on a kid once, and shit hits the fucking fan. It's everyday childhood problems blown way out of proportion. And the conversations between the kids the entire movie are as if adults are speaking. The topics that they are hitting are way beyond their actual age. And it really distracted me from the possibility of these being children with children's problems. And to end it all off, the end of the movie, there's no actual resolution. The movie just kind of ends, and it ends in a really down note. I know I said it in a previous episode that no resolution in a film is much like real life, but in the sense of this movie, at least a little bit of a resolution, a push in a direction that would have given us a little bit more about what ended up happening with these kids would have been awesome. But we don't get anything. We get a whole lot of tears, a whole lot of anger, and then the movie ends. So when it comes down to the end of it all, it comes down to my rating. It gets 3. 3 Netflix stars out of 5. It was a very good movie. I did enjoy it, but there wasn't enough there for me to actually give it anything more. But it kept my interest the entire time. It gripped me, for sure. But it doesn't deserve anything over 3 stars. It definitely doesn't deserve anything under 3 stars. I do suggest you guys watch it. Like I said earlier, definitely, if you can, get around to it. Watch The Dangerous Life of Altar Boys first. It gives you a very good sense of a higher produced teen angst indie film. But definitely give Mean Creek a shot. It's not terrible. It's not great. But it definitely is quite an intense film. And will make you reanalyze what you went through as a child. Thank you guys so much for watching my review. Feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree. Let's start a conversation. Seriously, people. Leave comments. Let's talk. Don't forget to subscribe and like my posts, please. The more likes I get, the more videos I will continue to do. Also, if there is a movie that you think I should see, you want to hear me review, or you think I should review, leave that in the comments below also. I will tag you in it, or I'll even give you a shout out right here. And I will see you next week with a new film and more rage.